What's up, y'all? It's just Rhonda. We just here to get into this Never Ever Mess Season 1, Episode 5. Like the video, subscribe to my channel, because if I get to rambling, I'm going to forget to tell y'all. Trying to figure out my energy. What time is it? 9:59. 9:59, and I'm still trying to figure out my, because I come over here and I want it to be, a fun little chit chat, whatever we be doing over here, talking shit. But that whole thing with Puffy popped off, and I was thrown off by how upset and affected I was by it. And I was like, oh my God bless Cassie that she has to keep reliving this shit, because it was a difficult energy to get past. And then this guy over here, the bishop, he over here screaming at the ladies and the children and things. Not the bishop, not the freaky bishop, not the freaky funny bishop. You know why I know that? Because the freaky funny bishop was on a tour this weekend. He was riding around his car, letting the people know and explaining his behavior. So he was over at Actually Aubrey's channel, and I'm gonna put the link in the description so you can go over there if you haven't seen it and listen to him explain himself. So I'm like, dang, oh. God, this ain't funny. Ain't none of this shit funny. Listen. Let's just get into it. I don't want to kill the vibe. Let's bring it back on over here. Let me cheer you up with a little Brianna, with a little, what's her name? A little Sienna and Brandon. Not going to work. Unfortunately, when you come into a situation where you've lured the man in for 10 months and then you meet him and you call him 3 bitches. They don't usually like that. Brandon, the people said you was soft. I didn't say that. The people said that. And by the people, I mean Chris. Chris said it as soon as you got there. He said, lover boy. None of these things I find as negative qualities, especially coming from someone like Chris. If Chris is describing someone as lover boy, and that's the opposite of what he is, I'd be more inclined to go that way. I don't really know no negative sides of Brandon because we didn't see any, because every time he opened his mouth, that lady was saying something kind of harsh or throwing flowers, and I can't explain that behavior. So if that's how you, and listen, I think there are people, myself being one of them, who was it, Stormy? Stormy said she was out there stabbing grass, and I said, that is a fantastic idea. I don't care what you say. Sometimes you have to find somewhere to put that angry energy, not at a person. And I don't know what that man did to make you so angry to want to throw things at him, but I feel like you've only been together for, a week? You haven't ever met him. So, if it's going to make you angry within 3 days, then no, it's a no. What are you trying to work on? I don't feel like people who have had nothing but conversation can't get through a conversation when they're in person. So, yeah, y'all need to go and go. Brandon seemed very excited to go ahead and go. He already had his bags packed. He was like humming around, drinking his coffee. Like when he seen Tashonda, what's her name? Taronda. When he seen Taronda coming, he was like, oh, hey, girl. Yeah, ain't gonna work out. Sienna said that she felt like very light and like a weight was lifted off of her. And I'm like, girl, you are the weight. You were the weight in this situation. So, listen, they both agreed that this experience taught them something. They learned something from it. That's cool. I think, How can you not? I don't know what they learned. We didn't get to that. Maybe they should have brought the therapist in instead of the Karma Sutra lady. The show is backwards. I don't know how you expect people to feel when they meet and then the next day's assignment is like to sit on each other's crotch. Whose idea was that? And I'm not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just saying it's a bad idea to do first. That should have been last. The questions at the dinner table, I actually like the questions at the dinner table. It should be fun, but some people in the house that walk in the door say, I don't like to really be around girls because they messy is the messiest person in the house and she wears bad edges. Everybody getting it. This behavior over here is stupid. The grownest people in the house. The freaky pastor's children. What was I talking about, child? I was talking about Sienna. Oh, yeah. The therapy really should come first. I think we should have a couple episodes of getting to know whatever it is these people are bringing to the table, and then move into like y'all doing ropes and chains and feathers and there's things going on over here. The lady didn't call the man a bitch 3 times in his face. Maybe y'all should put the feathers away for a second. Bring the therapist over here. That's all I'm saying. Anyway, good luck to those people. So here down to the mess. The people that want to walk around the house and ask everybody their business and then say, I wasn't in it. I don't even know how my name got in it. Your name got in it because you literally walked around the house and found business that wasn't yours. That's how. You're not gonna sit up there and tell me that what's her name? Sadia. Girl, say your name more often because none of us really know if we're saying it right. At least I don't. And I feel like I'm not alone on that one. She doesn't barely even talk. She sits there with her hand, you cannot tell me that lady brought you in her business, girl. Everybody's having breakfast. Diamond is literally pouting. She's pouting mad because yesterday, when she made a fool of herself or entered herself in those kids' business, then nobody wanted to have her back. And everybody's been talking about them behind their back. Who is everybody? Because Chris and Sadia and Aaron and what's this girl, Jody, I don't think y'all like them. So they've been interacting with each other. At least at least Jody and Chris have been interacting with each other, but it seems like Sadia and Aaron have been right there. Like, how salacious is it really? I don't think it's that big of a deal. Y'all asked the lady, was she comfortable? And she said, nah, she wasn't comfortable. She will handle it. Let her go in the therapy lady's chair and talk about it with that lady. She came here saying, no matter what, maybe before she leaves, at least she'll learn that no matter what is not the best, option to go with. Anyway, she pouting because, because she made a fool of herself. And then here come the pastor. He's not the pastor. Here come the bishop. What's wrong with you? I can tell, like, you're not feeling yourself. No, she's not feeling herself. She's still mad about yesterday when y'all left her hanging out there like that. I actually understand why she would want to say something to Sadia. You know what I'm saying? If you see it and then it's just downright disrespectful, and it probably is, but she got to learn how to speak up for herself. But if y'all had a little conversation with her, she was like, she gonna handle it. I don't know what y'all so mad for. The anger was just unnecessary. She said her name was in it all of a sudden. And I'm like, not all of a sudden. It really wasn't all of a sudden. You really, really orchestrated this whole thing. So there was no all of a sudden. And then she told the bishop he was fake. You're fake, just like the rest of them. All of y'all were talking about, all the men were talking about them behind their back. And then when we're in front of them, I'm the only one saying something. He asked her, like, how was I fake? She literally said, I wrote it down exactly. She said, you were fake. All of y'all are talking. And when I say something, you have nothing to say. And I think you're fake just like the rest of them. And he said, how was I fake? And she said, you talk and I gotta go. Then she got up and walked away. And then he went chasing behind her because she wants to get the shit started. And it's funny because in that first episode, when the boy Dominique was down here, you know, shoving this lady around the room, I'm gonna call it what it is. We gonna stop trying to be politically correct and safe over here for a minute. Because that's what he was doing, shoving and pushing his big self. Thank you, Bishop, for bringing us all the way back to here. But when that happened, Diamond, who doesn't want to be in the middle of the mess, did tell that girl, you should have came and got me. And now who in their right mind wants to be involved in, you know, when somebody says he was pushing the girl around and you're like, he could have came and got me. What were you going to do? Because she liked to fight, or at least see one. She liked to see a fight. Bishop, you better be prepared to fight a lot because Diamond enjoys that. She walks off in the kitchen. Now he's on a mission to show her. This performance was priceless. He needs to show her and prove to her he's not fake. He was strong, stomping down the hallway. He looked ridiculous. Everybody sitting in the kitchen, eating their breakfast, waiting on Taronda to come by. I mean, waiting on her to finish with these people upstairs. He's strong, walking through the kitchen, hand pointing in the air, walks around the cabinet, points his finger at Jody and says, I ain't never liked you since I got in the house. Well, first he made a formal announcement. Everybody, yesterday things went down. My girl Diamond thinks I was being fake by not speaking up. So I don't want that with her. I'm gonna stick beside her, right or wrong. That's what I'm gonna do. Diamond's standing in the corner like, then he points at Jody and he says, I ain't never liked you because I think you're full of shit. And Jody's sitting there with her poofy thing on. Jody, you a certified mess. That's what you certified. You are a certified hot ass mess. Y'all with these weaves are high maintenance. And if you don't know how to do the hair, you should do what Sadia. I'm gonna just spend next week practice saying her name right. Sadia. I feel like it's Chris's fault. I want her to say her name more. Because when he says it, I don't know, I think he's purposely putting an accent on it. And then, you know, when it's not natural to you, you sound a fool. I'm making excuses, child. I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. Anyway, she got her box braids in because she knew she wasn't gonna be over here doing a bunch of hair. Y'all girls go get a whole bunch of weaving and you can't maintain it. So what you doing it for? I guess you could always glue your baby hairs down to your forehead, Diamond. Anyway, he looked a fool screaming at that girl. She was sitting there looking like, what in the hell is wrong with this man? Why would you come make an announcement about I've never liked you? I don't give a shit. I didn't know you before I got here. She said, though, she said the feeling is mutual. That's fine. What is she supposed to do? Diamond and Bishop, they in there amped up, screaming. Everybody, Josh in there eating his food. He like, I don't know what they got going on, but I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat my food. I don't know where Shay is. She's usually not involved, which makes sense to me. Sitting around in that mess. Um, Greg and Millie, they was chilling. They were until Diamond and them came in there, got amped up. Oof. Taronda, these are the people you left in charge over here. They're gonna make the kids fight each other in a minute. Jody obviously gets piped up because y'all came in there screaming at her. Like, I don't know how she's supposed to respond to having yo nigga over here screaming at me. Like, Jody ain't trying to talk to the bishop. That would be reason for you to be mad. Jody is over here engaging with Chris. They get along. And if Sadia don't open her mouth, then that's gonna be her life dealing with him and that nonsense. Jody is a non-factor. When she where does she live? She live in Chicago. He's not thinking about her. And I don't think she's thinking about him either. They just have a lot in common. And I have to give Aaron credit, not Bishop Aaron, young Aaron, because he leaned in. He leaned in a little bit. He said, bring it on down. I need you to bring it on down. Shout out to Candy. All that yelling. Now you over here getting sung by the young Aaron. Aaron's like, I'm just trying to figure out, like, where did all this come from? What was transpiring before you came here popping fuck off? And the bishop is like, I'm gonna stick with mine, right or wrong. Well, she's wrong. And now both of y'all wrong. And Diamond is standing in the corner with this very satisfied smile on her face. Y'all are not making a good example to the children at all. Bishop then gave himself credit for proving to Diamond that she's not dealing with a weak man. I'm like, bro, when you come screaming at a little girl in a room that ain't said nothing to you, that's young enough to be your child, that's weak. That's weak as fuck. That's what the absolute definition of a weak man. This little girl says she don't even engage with you. She don't even try to talk to you. So you don't make sense. And Chris is the one disrespecting Sadia, his girl. And I think, hopefully, I mean, she's a beautiful girl. She's young. So just like Chris, I mean, just like young Aaron, they're very young. They're not stupid. And she's shy. She in a space where, I mean, what you supposed to do with these people? When she came in this house, this man choked the woman and pushed the lady, and now this man is screaming. I think the best bet is to be quiet. I think Chris is horrible for her, but they keep, leaning into this whole same core value stuff. Sometimes in your life, you have to set your own core values and see who's out there that's meshing with yours. I don't know that they're meshing, but she's so focused on being traditional Haitian girl, hopefully she'll figure it out. That's all I'm gonna say. We all have that one relationship that we'd had to learn from. Or 2 or 3 or 4. They're all a learning experience, I suppose. Anyway. Bishop said him and Don is cool. You got to go over there and listen to him explaining stuff. Him and Dom are cool. I guess you are. It's because y'all are just alike. You and Dom are not different, I suppose. Then he like, call me when it's over and see if you still. Why would I do that? It's not your business. And ironically, Chris and Aaron have no issues. None. These four people over here, none of them are fighting. They sit and chat with each other, and it's not even a thing. And y'all want it to be a thing. And if you have a girl who is extremely quiet and doesn't really engage much, and then you have another girl over here who is extremely outspoken, it just don't seem like they crushing on each other as much are y'all trying to make it seem like. That's all I'm saying. It was just too much like anger and venom going on for some kids that trying to figure out life. Jesus, they just met each other 3 months ago. Y'all been internet dating for 6 years. Like, put a mirror on that. Jesus. And in the middle of that, you engaged yourself to some other lady. Now, I know you suck toes, you get your nails done. I know you a comedian and a stripper and what else? I know about your abusive background with your wife and things. So, you tell all of that. You tell a good tale, you tell a good fable, you sing a good theme song to an 80s, sitcom. You don't tell what happened with that engagement. That's the only thing we want to know. You ain't really trying to spill the beans about. You talking about fables and tales. Nigga, it don't matter because you're gonna be fighting. You're gonna be fighting physically to prove your love to make up for that shit. You're gonna be sucking toes, and when I seen her in that Thunderbutt dress, child, you better get your exercise. Diamond goes back in the room all amped up. She telling Shay what happened down in the kitchen, and it was just a hot ghetto mess. Now Millie is getting piped up because Diamond got her all piped up. She got to stand up and give her 2 cents. It was a very unnecessary 2 cents, to be honest. But I mean, okay, girl. And then she's, also triggered probably by whatever trauma that she had going on. But I feel like the bullshit with Chris, even if Jody wasn't there, the bullshit with Chris would still be going on. It's not the flirting, it's the control. That's the issue. And I feel like the control is part of, the flirting is part of the training to see what she gonna take and what she gonna take and what she gonna take and what she gonna take. He don't trust women. So she's gonna forever be indebted trying to prove herself to him. It's never gonna be enough. So hopefully she'll get out of that cycle. I'm like, Millie, you mad about the wrong shit. You should be mad about how Greg's sideburns don't match his beard. I'd be glad when he get to the barbershop. Shoot. I'm Diamond up there talking about, I don't know what got into Bishop Aaron, but I am so proud of him. And I'm like, you got into him. That's what happened. You don't remember? I do. You sat down there, pouted. You sent him up, stomped off into the kitchen, sent him on a mission to fight. He did. You liked it. That's what happened. Now you're proud. You should be embarrassed. At both you and him. Sadia is all stressed out from all that screaming and stuff, and Chris takes this opportunity to lean in. Y'all remember what we learned about leaning in? You lean in. He leaned in. He told her about how don't let any of these people don't listen. You just block them out. You should only be listening to me because I'm the one that's got your best interest at heart. And she's sitting there nodding. They go on their field trip to another one of these stupid things. I'm not going to talk about them tying each other, feathering each other. That shit was stupid. Like I said, we don't need that. We need the therapy lady to come back. So I mean, to come, instead of all of that, they tied each other up, and it was, a waste of time, to be honest. I learned that Jody was a sexologist. I guess I heard her say something about being a sex coach or something before, but girl, okay. You keep saying that, but I don't understand. I mean, I guess anybody can do it. She said she's certified. You could be certified to do a lot of things that you're not good at, and that's a fact. But I feel like I would want my sex therapist to be enjoying sex, not traumatized by it. So the therapist sits down with Chris and Sadia. Um, Sadia, of course, tells her she's uncomfortable with the way she feels is flirting with Jody. Um, he said he ain't flirt with Jody, and he said that when she says that, it makes him feel like she's trying to control him. If your interaction with another woman makes the woman that you are pursuing uncomfortable, then you should evaluate how, what it is. Because if this is a person that's important to you, watch how you moving. You doing too much. She said you be too close in her bubble, y'all space be too tight. And she said, how the whole little touchy going on. And if you're not touching her, you're definitely not stopping her from touching you. Some, people like to laugh and lean all into you, and we've seen how what's the name gets Jody gets, because first night in again with Dom, when her and Dom felt like they were found out they was from the same area, it was like high fiving, and they were very much physical. And the lady talking about she a sex therapist and a man eater. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. I also feel like Chris knows exactly what he's doing. Like I feel like he's gaslighting it. I can look at it from that perspective, whatever that bullshit he was trying to say. But if my partner is telling me that my actions are making them uncomfortable, then you got to feel. And now if it's unreasonable, I get it. But when her saying that you doing too much with that girl, stop doing too much with that girl. Jesus, that's not even a hard request. Chris says what did he say? He says she expresses herself in a highly emotional way. And I'm like, we barely see this girl complete a sentence. I mean, it just sounds like a lie. Sounds like bullshit. Chris says, he was hurt in the past, and she was like saying he should forget the past. Everybody ain't the same. The therapist is like, I mean, he not gonna be able to forget the past. So you have to accept, his trauma in that, I suppose. And I feel like, yeah, I suppose, but I also feel like all shady niggas try to come with that same story about how their last girlfriend did them wrong. I've heard the playbook, child. There's certain words that you could say now that I'm like, here we go. I got a list for you. Maybe I'll make a list one day of all the buzzwords. Y'all gonna have to change the playbook. I feel like the manipulation starts with the cheating ex story. That's where the manipulation begins. I was hurt. She did this to me. I mean, it happens. I'm just saying, when it's all put together in a nice little package, the way Chris is presenting it, it turns into something different. I think Chris was over there gathering information from the therapist to take home and use for his own self. The other couples are back at the house playing one of them games. It's called Who Said What. First, sexual questions. What sexual curiosity have you not explored? Jody's sexual curiosity is an orgy. And I'm like, oh, what? Okay. Well, I mean, get that on your bucket list, child. Is that what you're here for? Are y'all picking partners? People do what they do. Just make sure everybody involved is on the same page. Aaron says he feels a lot of pressure because this lady is a sexologist and also trying to be careful not to trigger her because he's trying to understand her boundaries, and trying to do that at the same time is difficult. So when we go back to the Kama Sutra situation and they're trying to pick a position one day after meeting each other and sit on top of her and stuff, and this kid got blasted for being nervous because he knows, he probably immediately was uncomfortable. That's why this game should have happened at the end. I'm just saying. She doesn't even want to be around him. So the Bishop and Diamond have visitors come by. Bishop's friend came by, and some man that he's known since the 8th grade. He said this is a lifetime friend, like family type individual. He'd said he was ready to marry Diamond when this thing is over, and his friend said, "Wow, yeah, I guess, child, because how you gonna do that? Y'all been talking for 6 years. You live in California. She live in Stanford. Child, she around the block. I'm like liable to run into her somewhere at the mall, something. Not the malls I go to. They don't be wearing their edges like that. Anyway, I'm gonna let that lady's edges go. Now here come Diamond's sister or friend. Apparently, this ain't her real life sister. Don't matter. This is the person that she's asked to come. She rolled up in there looking like Aunt Esther, prepared to call this man a fish-eyed fool. I was like, why you bring this friend? I'm gonna tell you why, because she wants to see Aaron fight with her. That lady came to fight. She sat down with no intention of giving this man any type of energy. She don't want to hear none of it. She's still pissed about how that whole engagement thing played out. And I'm like, apparently he's not telling. He'll tell us anything else you want to know about him, but he's not going to be sharing any information about the engagement that happened a few years ago. Now, Diamond said that he had proposed to that lady. That lady said she'd let him know. And when she said that, he, was like, never mind. I'm going to just go with Diamond. Now, he said that's not true, but that lady already knew. That lady already knew the story. They were familiar with how things, similar. Her friend, sister friend is wherever they sit, she just getting loud. She starts calling the man trash and all his name. And so they came to see what was going on. And, Bishop introduces Diamond to his friend. And his friend, of course, is very polite and asked her, she wasn't having none of it. She was in there rolling her eyes, and it escalated quickly. They got to arguing, and the people from around the house was like trying to peek around the corner and see what's going on. That's how ignorant Diamond's people is. That huge ass house. The people was like, what the hell? Who's screaming? They peeking around the corners and stuff. Bishop Aaron called this lady all kind of bitches, and they was on your ass stank, and you look like an ass, and oh my, it got real low. It got real low. All brought to you by the bishop and his lovely diamond. Yeah, that's how that ended. That ignorant nonsense. Next week, Aaron does something apparently to upset Jody. Um, Greg is gonna speak on his trauma. Y'all like the video. Subscribe to my channel and we'll see what these people have. I'm beginning to wish I never met they ass. Y'all, bye y'all.